John Visconti here. We're celebrating the Masquerade. On the left, I have Venetian Carnival Tarot, and this is put out by Roxana Paul. I believe she's based in Australia. This is her first edition, and the guidebook is by Victor Paul, likely her husband. Okay, here's the back of the box. Here we see an example of Roxana's stunning artwork here, and here's a paragraph here if you wish to read it. My eyes aren't cooperating today, so I will not read anything for you. Okay, the Gold Masquerade Tarot is on our right. It's put out by a company called Craft Cards or Craftarian. I have a number of their decks. They're all heavily gilded on the edges. And here's an example of that deck in a paragraph here if you want to read. Oh, the publishing house on this one, on the left here, is the Rising Sun Publishing House. It's likely a publishing house in Australia, I think. I'm not sure. I've never heard of it, so my first time I've seen that. Anyways, a brief tidbit on the Carnival of Venice Festival. It began in Venice, Italy, in early medieval times. In fact, here's a very early depiction of the carnival. It says, masked men threw eggshells filled with perfume during the carnival. And you can see their masks are very simple, not nearly as elaborate as we have today in the Venetian Carnival or Mardi Gras, for that matter, in the States. Now, masquerade festivals spread throughout Europe after Venice, and today they're celebrated in a number of countries. Of course, in the States, we have the Mardi Gras. Interesting history on that is that it was celebrated about 60 miles downriver from where New Orleans is today. And the actual date that the Mardi Gras began was, believe it or not, March 3rd, 1699. Okay, so very early times in the States. And in fact, it was a couple of decades before New Orleans was actually founded officially by the French in 1718. So it goes way back in the States, but not nearly as far as Venetian Carnival. The guidebooks, well, Roxana Paul, or rather Victor Paul, did this guidebook. And here's an example of that book. The pictures are in black and white and do not do justice to the actual cards. And here's an example of the pages in her book, which I'm not going to read. Okay, the guidebook for the Gold Masquerade Tarot is very basic, just generic meanings for the cards here. But I guess it'll get you through tarot, I guess. Okay, cardstock-wise, well, they are both exactly tarot size of 2.75 by 4.75 inches. And here are the backs of the cards. This is a beautiful back by Roxana Paul here on the left. And this is a more subdued back here on the Gold Masquerade Tarot. Well, let's begin. Our first card is the Fool. We have a masked Fool here on the left. And on the Gold Masquerade, we have a Jester. Oh, let me show you the gilding. I forgot to show you the gilding. Check this gilding out on the Gold Masquerade. Wow. I've never seen gilding quite that spectacular. Very, very beautiful. Okay, let's look at the gilding on the Venetian Carnival Tarot. And you can see it's very bright gold. Not nearly as elaborate as the Gold Masquerade Tarot. Okay. All right, well, we started with the Fool. Let's move on to the Magician. Okay, interesting Magician here on the left. And on the right, we have a masked Magician. Apparently, all the majors, all of them do not have masks, only some of them. Okay, here we have very vibrant purple here in the High Priestess. We have a nun-like lady here as the High Priestess on the right. Hey, here's our Empress card. Wow, check out that Empress on the left there. And the Emperor. I think he's just really makeup on his face. I don't really see a mask there. I haven't looked at all these cards. I put them in order. I put all my cards in order of majors, then wands, then cups, then coins or pentacles, and wrap it up with swords. I do that because the wands and the swords have a lot of male energy, and the cups and pentacles or coins have a lot of female energy. So I kind of put it where the masculine energy can protect the feminine energy in the deck here. I'm OCD, really. Okay. Here we have the Lovers. And here we have the Chariot. Wow, look at that. There's 3 faces there. I have a couple other decks where they utilize that effect. It really impresses me. Probably one of my favorite Chariot cards, I think, here. Okay, here's a Chariot here on the right without a mask. But a very stately horse there. Okay, coming up on Strength. Oh, Justice. We have Justice here on the Venetian Carnival Tarot. And we have Strength here in the Golden Masquerade Tarot. Okay, the Hermit. I have a Hermit here on the left. And on the right, we have a more conventional Hermit here. I think they could have done masks on all the majors here in the Golden Masquerade. I don't know why they didn't, but okay, on the left here I have the wheel. And on the right, I have a basic wheel. Okay, now we're switching it up here once again. Strength on the left and Justice on the right. No scale. She does have a tiny mask there upon her head. Hey, here's our Hanged Man. Kind of bizarre, just like a mask there upside down. And here we have a Hanged Man. Almost looks like he's on a swing, maybe, and not so much hung. Hey, here's our Death card. Interesting death here on the Venetian Carnival Tarot. And here's Death on the Golden Masquerade. Hey, Temperance. I have Temperance here. So Roxana Paul's tarot is very vibrant, richly infused colors on her deck here. It's also a little more glossy than this. Here we have a jester guy as the devil. Kind of a creepy crown thing going on this side here in the right. On the left, I have a not so intimidating devil. Hey, here's our Tower card. Venetian Carnival Tarot, we have a tower. It almost looks like it's upon her head, I guess. And not much of a mask there. Okay, and the Tower card, wow, look at that tower. That's pretty intricate there. Here's our Star card. It's a little star here above her. Excuse me. Here's our Moon card. And here's the Sun. Wow, I really liked the card here on my left. That's a beautiful Sun card. Love the golds. Wow. On the right, I have the sun also. Big sun behind him. Sunflower, maybe. I'm not sure. And he does have a mask on the sun card. A judgment. We have a huge scale. Okay. A huge scale here on the Golden Masquerade Carol. And almost a pastel lavender or something here going on the left here. The violin, that's interesting. Interesting. Judgment has a large scale, but Justice didn't have one. Okay, here's the World. Astrological symbols there on the left. I think they are. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Okay, on the right here, we have 4 masked figures here for the World. Okay, moving on to Wands. This is the Ace. We have the 2. We have the 3. There's the 4 of Wands. And here's the 5. Very dynamic gold colors on Roxana's deck. Okay, here's the 6 of Wands. Oh, I dropped the card. Have to excuse me here. Have to pick it up. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. I do all my stuff on the fly, so bear with me here. Okay, 7 of Wands. These cards somewhat arranged here. There we go. Okay, here's our 8 of Wands. And here's the 9. Well, I've been lucky. So far, the cards haven't stuck together. I had a Crafterian craft card deck where not only were the cards sticking together, they were out of order. So I had to put them in order before I could review the deck. Okay, here we have the 10 of Wands. Love that cat mask on the left here. Apparently all the miners and the Gold Masquerade Tarot have masks, I guess. Okay, here's our page. And here's the Knight. Here's the Queen. Here's the King of Wands. And here's our Ace of Cups. I like this card here on my right. I do like it. Okay, here's the 2. Here's the 3. I prefer this 3 of Cups myself. Now, Venetian Carnival doesn't exactly fall Smith weight. Okay, here's the 4. And here's the 5 of Cups. Here's the 6. Here's the 7. Looks like a devil guy on my left. Here's the 8. Our 9. On the left, we have Buddha, of all things. Have a Buddha 9 of Cups. And we have a kind of a creepy crown type thing going on here on my right. Hey, here's the 10. These cards haven't stuck together on either deck, so I'm quite impressed. In spite of the heavy gilding on each deck. Okay, here's the 10 of Cups. And here's the page. Here's the Knight. Let me straighten these cards up a bit. That's good. And this deck here. Okay. Here's the Queen of Cups. And the King. Okay, moving on to Pentacles. The Ace. I actually like both these decks. You know, I do like Roxana Paul's artistry, but the Gold Masquerade is growing on me as I go through the cards here. Here's the 3 of Pentacles. And here's the 4. Here's the 5. And here's a 6. Here's the 7 of Pentacles. And the 8. Here's the 9. And the 10. Here's our page. And our Knight. And here's the Queen. And here's the King. I looked at a pentacle here, that large coin in his hand, is a mask coin. Interesting. Okay, moving on to swords, this is the Ace. Here's the 2. And the 3 of Swords. Both have a heart theme to them. And here's the 4. And the 5 of Swords. 6. And here's a 7. The 8. The 9. And the 10 of swords. Here's our page. The knight. I love these beaked masks here in Venetian Carnival. The doctors wore those in medieval times, and they thought it protected them from bacteria and viruses. Okay, here's the queen. And wrapping up the decks is the King of Swords. That's it. I do want to show you this gilding one more time. It's so dynamic. Look at that. Just gorgeous. Okay. And Roxana Paul's gilding is very basic, but quite bright. I'm impressed with the cardstock that they didn't stick together on the first time examining each card, so I'm very impressed with that. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you have a great Venetian Carnival Festival or Mardi Gras, if you have those. And thanks again for watching and for your support.